Hey guys, Chris from Two Brain Business here, and today I'm going to tell you what to do when your time is worth more than money. And before I get going, make sure you hit follow, subscribe on this video so that we can send you more stuff. And this video is for high-level gym owners who are already earning at least $100,000 per year in net owner benefit, and they want to take it to the next level. And you're like me, and you're like, well, what do I do now? So the exercise that we use in Two Brain is called the value ladder. And we start the value ladder by determining your effective hourly rate, which is what you earn from your business divided by the number of hours that you work. And so we have gyms in Two Brain calculate the owner's effective hourly rate. This is really a measure of like how good of a CEO you are. So if your effective hourly rate is like, 30 bucks, oh, I got to use my marker here, 30 bucks, then, you kind of fall in here and you should be still doing the programming duties and the full-time head coach duties and the sales duties and the GM duties, right? Until you can raise your EHR. And then when you can do that, when you're earning more revenue in the same time or cutting back on your time, then you can hire your full-time coach, your programmer, or whatever based on what they paid. But what happens when you go off the end of the scale here, okay? When you're over, well over $100,000 a year, what do you do? And this is a problem that's actually kind of plagued me recently because, my effective hourly rate is well over $2,500 per hour. There's nobody who really wants to buy my time for that. And, to be honest, I'm not sure that I would want to work with somebody for an hour at a time at that rate anyway. The thing is, like, when you're making, $1 million a year, let's say, if somebody gives you the opportunity to do something for like 20,000 bucks, 25,000, $50,000, your standard of living is not actually going to change. Between $1 and $5 million in net worth, your standard of living doesn't change that much. You get a cool truck, whatever, maybe you get a beachfront property, but you're not going to get 5 of those things, right? Like you're not buying the yacht. Between 5 and 20 million, yeah, your standard of living changes again, but between 1 and 5, there's not that much big of a deal. So when you're offered opportunities to work incrementally or per hourly or to do one-off things, you're sometimes tempted to just say like, well, it's not really worth it for me. So for example, like things that you used to do, go and speak at this seminar, we'll pay you $5,000. That doesn't really change my lifestyle, and so I'm not really interested in doing that. What you need to look for are things that you would do for free at this level. And so I was talking with one of the leaders in one of our masterminds, Sharon Srivatsa, and Sharon has a net worth of well over $100 million. And he leads our mastermind for free. And I didn't get it. And I said, Sharon, like, you've got way more money than you're going to ever spend. There's no way anybody's paying you to run this small group of entrepreneurs who earn between like $5 and $10 million a year, right? Like, what dollar amount could they pay you that would make this interesting to you? And he said, that's the point. There is no dollar amount that would make me want to do this, but I would do it for free. And that's where I should be spending my time. So this balance of like, you can't afford me anymore, or this cause can't afford me anymore, or this hobby could never pay me enough, should be balanced with, here's the things that I would do for free. And this week we advertised for mentors in Two Brain. We're hiring 2 more, I think in January. And we had about 50 applicants, and most of them said, I would do this for free. Now, of course, our mentors get paid extremely well, but what we're looking for are people who would do this because they have freedom of time. They're not desperate for money. And like a lot of the business coaches out there, and this is just part of their mission. And so what this all comes down to, like the denominator on how to spend your time when it's too expensive to sell by the hour, is basically like, what's your mission? And that's where you should divide it. This morning, I was driving up to my office. I got all the way here. It was 40 minutes later, and I realized I'd forgotten my keys to the building. I texted a few of my tenants. They're all off this week. And I said, okay, I'm going to have to drive all the way home and all the way back. But because most of my job now is thinking, it was still worth it for me to drive another hour and a half in my truck by myself just to have that time to think and develop new ideas. That's what I love doing. It's worth it for me to volunteer to coach kids, but a $30,000 a year job coaching kids in hockey would not be worth it to me. It's worth it for me to train hard on the bike and learn to be a better cyclist. It would not be worth it for me to train and become a professional cyclist and earn, $100,000 a year. So the cool thing is, like, when you're later in tinker phase, you're going to reach this point where nobody can really buy your time anymore. And you're asking yourself, like, what should I do? If you're not in that phase yet, this is going to sound like what the hell is he talking about? Like, this is a 1% of 1% problem, but it's a huge problem. And what happens in this phase is a lot of tinkers just get bored. They don't know what to do. And so they turn back to their original business. They poke around with stuff. They try changing things that are working, changing staff. They start looking over people's shoulders and just messing with it and breaking it. And what you've got to do instead of that is ask yourself, what's something that I would do for free all day? Or what's something that I would do for free for an hour every day, just because I love it? And that's where you need to spend your time. Reaching that point is an amazing goal. Just don't try and grab that goal of donating your time before you're absolutely ready to do that.